What am I doing, you ask? Why, I'm procrastinating, of course! Welcome to another studio vlog. In this studio vlog, I'm going to attempt to show you how I film and do a life book lesson. So I thought it would be nice to finally have an actual subject for a vlog. If you want to check out my previous vlog, I chat a little bit about the approach, but this is going to be showing you how I actually do it, I think. Waits for printer. Still waiting. Still waiting. Oh, here it comes. I just grabbed the stuff off the printer and then I made the mistake of sitting down at my computer again, and then I just got sucked into Facebook and then I was scrolling. Luckily I caught myself after about 5 minutes, but I am seriously engaging in some kind of fear/procrastination behavior because I do get quite scared or worried or just nervous. Like, I want to do a good job and I have a good idea of what I want to do, but now I just need to do it, and it's intimidating. It stays intimidating. I've been teaching online for 6 years now. I've been teaching on Lifebook. I think this is my 3rd year. It's still scary. Stinks as well. Noise. This is better. Marginally. So I film at my desk. I have a ring light so that my whole desk is lit up, and I have a tripod that allows me to hang my camera over my desk at a straight angle down rather than at a slanted angle, which would kind of make you feel dizzy if when you're watching it. I'm gonna do a separate video about all the gear I use for vlogging and filming lessons and stuff like that. And then, yeah, you saw me print this, so I create a little kind of brainstorm document for myself. When I start filming, I will close the window, but for vlogging, I usually I'll just fix the audio afterwards. Oh yeah, and now they start doing sewing and stuff. It's great living here when you're trying to film. Anyway. So I do a little brainstorm document. So the Lifebook lessons, the different months have themes. So I will write down the theme for the month that my lesson is in. So in this case, that is accepting shadow and light, embracing and treating with compassion all aspects and elements to who we are as human beings, working on self-forgiveness, self-empathy, and healing self-judgment, wounding. So that kind of fits in really well with the type of stuff that I try to do anyway. The title and the description of the lesson, this is quite challenging. I had to provide that many months ago, and that is something that I find really difficult because I tend to teach the type of stuff that I'm into at the time of filming. I don't know 6 months or a year in advance what I'm going to be into and what I'm going to be excited about teaching. So I try to keep it general, but in a way what I wrote still fits. So the title of the lesson is Your Whole Self. Might still change that, I don't know. And I plan to do a blah blah blah, creating an imperfect portrait that we're going to use intuitive mixed media techniques to paint an imperfect portrait that represents the breadth of our true inner selves and feelings. So it's going to be an emotional self-portrait. In terms of the practical side, I want to use lots of color, texture, and bold moves. I touched upon this a little bit in my previous vlog. I try to have a balance between explaining about an art process that is emotional, but also having kind of practical steps that you can kind of follow, because otherwise it would be quite scary. And I do think that when it comes to live book, it's nice to sit down and to spend like an hour with the teacher and with yourself to make a project. So that's kind of the approach that I have. And then so I kind of write down my thoughts around it. I write down the supplies that I want to use. So I've got acrylic, gouache, charcoal, palette knife, brayer. Again, when I'm working, I might decide to use other things. So I think what's important to know is this kind of a guideline that I put together for myself, but it's not set in stone. And also, there are certain things that I do out of order. So I'm not going to make the supply list until after I filmed it, because after I filmed it, I will know the exact supplies that I used, rather than like restricting myself beforehand. I printed off some pictures of work that I've done recently that I feel kind of fits in with the kind of the look and feel of what I want this lesson to be. And then I did a little structure, like a little table, because I'm a big nerd, of the different steps of the lesson. Because like I said before, I don't want to just roll the camera and make it this huge waffly lesson. I will do probably a little bit of waffling, but at least it will be structured in different sections. It will be like waffle section 1, waffle section 2, if you're still with me. So I'm gonna have a face to camera intro, which I'm going to do after I filmed the lesson, because after I filmed the lesson, I will have the art piece, so then I can like be like, here is what we're going to make, although it's not necessarily what everybody's gonna make, because I'll encourage people to make their own work, but it is a nice illustrative piece of thing that I can include if I do it afterwards. I'm gonna have a brief description of the supplies. I'm going to be working on the background, then I'm gonna be working on the portrait, and then I'm gonna be working on the final details. And I've also kind of thought to myself, like, how do I want to film this? So do I want to be talking whilst I'm working? I find that very hard. So what I will usually try to do is I will just work and I will have music on in the background, and then in the edit I will do a voiceover instead. So that way I'm not distracting myself from my kind of intuitive work, but then you're not just like watching me paint without any instruction. So I'll add the instruction afterwards, kind of when I'm at my computer. And then I'm also going to do an outro, you know, face to camera, because it's nice to show my face. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to do the description of the supplies, and then I'm gonna get into the project. I actually use this camera to film my lessons, so I might film a few brief bits on my phone so that you can kind of see what I'm doing, but I don't want to distract myself too much with the vlogging whilst I'm actually working on the lesson, because I feel like I want to dedicate my attention to the making of this lesson. So yeah, I'm gonna do background, description of supplies, background, and then I'm gonna get into, you know, making something that looks possibly something like this. We'll see. I never really know what is gonna happen, which makes it both scary and exciting. It requires a bit of trust and faith. Okay, I shall check in with you a little bit later. Okay, just doing a quick check-in. So I've got my all set up. I've been filming the background, which I'm pretty happy with. This is all nice and textured. It all feels like very much in my style. And I also did a little demo about like different features like mouths and eyes. That was kind of like an aside, but when you're working intuitively, you're still drawing on certain knowledge or certain things that you've seen or certain things that you've used. And I always think that if you've got a lot of tools in your toolbox, then you can express yourself much more effectively. This bit, I talked to the camera whilst I was filming because it's a fairly practical process. It's like, you know, you're applying paint and like another layer and you're grabbing this supply and grabbing that supply, and I don't really have to think about it too much, so I can talk whilst I'm doing it. Now I'm going to get into the portrait itself, which to me is a slightly more intuitive process. So I'm going to run the camera and then come back later and do a voiceover, just so that I can connect a little bit more to myself and my process and stuff. Because even though I can demo techniques and talk at the same time, I feel like that being really connected to myself and my kind of intuition and making intuitive expressive art, I can't do that if I am talking through what I'm doing, because talking through stuff is very kind of logical brained, whereas intuitive art is much more like feelings based, and I don't feel like practical language helps with that. It kind of hinders. So I'm gonna just run the camera and see what comes out, and hopefully I will like it afterwards. Quick check-in. Where's the camera? Oh, there it is. I'm using my phone. I don't know where the lens is. Anyway, this is the finished portrait. I'm really happy with it. I really felt like it went well, and I felt like I was able to get across my kind of process, both in terms of techniques and in terms of like how I work emotionally, I guess. And I'm just really happy with the way that this looks, because you don't always know, like, and I would hate to like make something I didn't like, but then I wouldn't want to re-record the lesson, because it's like there's more to making art than just making stuff you like. There's also the process. The process is so important. I don't remember what else I was going to say. So yeah, so I've finished all the overhead filming now. I'm going to have to film the intro and the outro, for which I think I'm gonna do my makeup, because I do like to look nice. So I don't care about looking nice for a vlog, but I do like to look nice for a lesson video. So there we go. I'm gonna do that in a minute. So check in with you later. I don't really want to. I am the worst with transitions. So once I'm doing something, I'm all right. I can do it. But the before and then getting to the doing thing, or the after and then getting to the next thing, I am just terrible with that, and that's where I get stuck. I don't tend to get stuck once I'm doing something, but now, because I did all the overhead stuff and I did that all, like I knocked that all out in one go pretty much, but now because I have to do the face to camera stuff, and I have to like do my makeup, or I mean I don't have to, but I want to, and then I have to set up the camera there and I have to set up the shot and stuff like that. It's just it's moving from one mode of operating to another mode. I could just so easily get stuck, you know, get distracted by my phone, or start, I don't know, doing the laundry. The laundry always needs doing. Yeah, I struggle with that, and I really wish I didn't. I wish I could just do stuff. It's helpful to be filming this though, because I get to talk it through, and I also get to have a little bit of accountability, because it's like, you know, I'm filming this, and if I now stop doing it and start doing something else, then I'm no longer filming this vlog, which has a subject, it has a theme, so I'm gonna like try and stay on task. Oh, you can literally see all my spots and pores. It's terrible. I think it's good enough. Yeah, you can see the big crack in the wall over there. And the mold remover spray. Yeah, real life. So it is in the can, as they say. This is the 2021 form of the can. So I now need to import the footage and start editing it. I will first need to have lunch, otherwise I will get grumpy. And then I might, I don't know if I will have time to start doing all of the editing today, but what I will do is I will start looking through the footage and getting it all into the right folder. It's where I live, yo. Like, this is what it sounds like to live here. So I'll have a look through it. I will kind of, wrap my head around what I want to do, and then at some point get into the editing, and I will show you a little bit about how I do that. Hey Teak, what are you doing? Yeah? Visitor in the office today. Jupiter's bubble's closed. Wanna wave? His bubble's closed, so he's at home. Yay. And we've put him to work. It is Friday morning. I have some laundry on, which is probably what you can hear in the background. Andrew's got a meeting in the office. I mean, not an actual, like a Zoom meeting, so that's why I'm filming in the kitchen for a second. I am going to get on with the showing you some of my live book editing, because that is the next step in my process. But first, I need to do some science. And I thought I'd do it in this vlog, because what else is vlogging for? So I have this antibody test, which is the one that will tell you if you have had COVID. So I thought, okay, sure, I'll sign up for that, because I would quite like to know, and also, for science, yay! So let's draw blood. Also, if this is a trigger for you at all, I'm not gonna be like super graphic or anything, but Editing Iris will put a time code on the screen right now here if you want to skip this section. So just skip to the time code. Success. Okay, call me weird, but I thought that was very exciting. I've never done anything like that before. All right, let's get going with the rest of life and life book and filming and teaching and stuff, editing. Need to take a break. The editing vlogs is really fun. Editing lessons, where it's just like the bulk of things and like cutting bits out and stuff, that is pretty boring. So I can only do so much of it before I need to do something else. And I realize I'm just feeling a bit kind of frazzled, not with the editing, just life, kind of, picking up the kids or just the kid, I guess. And it was hot out, and it's kind of just like hot and humid, and I need to just take a little bit of time to myself and just do some of my own creative stuff, just to kind of come back to myself. So that's what I'm gonna do. I am going to, I think, just sketch in my crinkly sketchbook and listen to some vlogs and just take a moment. I mean, it's the end of the week. It's like Friday afternoon. It's 10 to 5. We're gonna have, you know, pizza and movie later. Just need... I need a couple of minutes to decompress. So I'll check in with you later. Currently sold out, but I have reordered there is a sticker to get made because they're big 5-inch clear stickers. But they are so ones that I'm so happy with the way that those turned out. And so was James. James was like, "Oh, you need to make this in a quantity tape." So there it is. Hello, my peeps. It's been a few days since I last recorded. I don't really remember, like, what is even life? My hair is extra. I managed to actually finish editing my life book lesson. Yay! Insert applause. Yeah, it took me a while. Not like there was part relaxation time of the weekend, and then there was also part kind of like having a little bit of motivational issues and feeling like I am going through life at the bottom of the ocean with some weights tied to my feet. So, but I finished it and feeling good about it. I did actually yesterday try to record some stuff where I tried to screen record my screen and with like a little inset of my face on my webcam where I was talking through things, but my computer is so old, specifically the graphics card, it can't handle that, which is a shame. But I'm gonna do it manually, so let me just quickly show you and briefly talk you through what I have been doing in the edit studio. Okay, here we go. I edit in Premiere Pro. This is my lovely timeline, which shows you all of the clips that I have cut. So all of the lines that you see are little cuts that I've made, which usually just means that I am cutting out the boring bits so that it is more interesting to watch. What you can see here is most of this footage is, so that's the video file and this is the audio file. So I will be talking as I'm recording. But then here is a bit where I didn't talk whilst recording the footage, which was basically doing the portrait. There I recorded a voiceover afterwards, over basically the quiet video. I also recorded a nice little intro with my face. There you go. Oh, that doesn't look very flattering. That is always what happens when looking at video stills. And then here at the start, I recorded, or I put together a little, what do you call this? Like a little intro set to music and showing some of the footage. And it just is like a little 12-second intro that kind of gives you a taste for the project. What I'll do here is Editing Iris will put in a short clip of what that looks like, because it's just like a little bit of flavor that starts the lesson off with a nice feeling, and I quite like doing that, so I will put it in here so you can see the first 12 seconds of the lesson and how I put that together. Hello everyone and welcome to my main life book lesson, Your Whole Self. And then yeah, the rest of it is kind of me talking through the supplies, showing the techniques, and kind of working through everything to get to the final result, for which I will also pop in a picture here so you can have a look. I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. And then the next step in this whole process, this means that the lesson is actually done in terms of the video content and the video file. I also will need to create a walkthrough PDF, which is something where I put in screenshots from the video and then I write up some description and stuff like that. And I like to make my PDFs look quite nice so that they're like printable and people can keep them and they just give you a good feeling. And also obviously that they're really useful. So that's the next thing that I'm going to be working on, and I'll show you that when I'm in progress and kind of what that ends up looking like. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm so tired today. Oh my god. I just had my cup of tea. It's taken the edge off slightly, but I am just knackered. Anyway, let's load up the old InDesign and do a little bit of PDF making. Now I have to figure out how to show you my screen and my face at the same time, but maybe you don't need to see my face. I don't have an aesthetic office. I don't really do aesthetic. I just do done is better than perfect. If you have taken my courses before, then you'll know that I usually have like a fairly detailed PDF walkthrough that... My phone is ringing. Hey babe, where was I? I usually have a PDF that has a walkthrough and a supply list, and sometimes I include lesson goals. It depends on the type of class it is, and also just a little bit about me, and it's kind of like just an all-encompassing summary of the lesson video that goes with it. I have a template that I made a while back. It was heavily inspired by my friend Marike because she does amazing PDFs, and it's just a thing that I can copy and paste, and then I can just drop in the relevant pictures for the new PDF walkthrough. It was the initial creation of the PDF, like the template, that took me ages, but then now when I do my PDF, it's literally just gathering some pictures. I have a very scientific paper pad with my notes of my supplies on there, and then I just have to populate the information and the pictures in the PDF. It probably takes me about, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes. I have already taken screenshots in Premiere Pro of the lesson itself, and then I can use these. I might not use all of them. I take kind of different screenshots of the different stages of the lesson or of the project. And the way that I put together this PDF is kind of as a memory aid, so it really is meant to be used in conjunction with the video or as a kind of memory device after somebody has already watched the class, and if they want to keep and print the PDF for like future reference. So it isn't like, I think it would be a little bit difficult to follow the PDF without the lesson, but it's still pretty comprehensive because I'm very wordy, as you've noticed probably, and I usually write quite a lot of instructions. But I also, to me, it's quite important both in my video lesson and in my PDF to keep things succinct, because the thing that I hate a lot is to have my time wasted. So I do like to have it so that whatever is in the PDF or whatever is in the lesson is actually relevant, that if you're watching it you don't feel like you want to skip through bits or fast forward it. I'd rather make a shorter lesson that you watch twice than make a huge long lesson that you want to skip through. I mean, I hope that's something that I'm succeeding at. I kind of have to find a balance between the amount of time that I can put into something and the quality that I want it to be, which is a little bit of a trade-off, because obviously I could make it even better and more succinct, but I think that would require an amount of time and a production level that isn't really warranted. So yeah, trade-offs. Okay, so let me briefly show you what I'm doing here. So I'll open my template, which is just, it's from a previous lesson. If you took this one, this is on Lifebook 2021, so this was my bonus lesson. So right now what I'm gonna do is here I'm going to start popping in some other pictures. So here I've got artwork images, I've taken pictures of the project, so I can just pop that in, and because I've already kind of sized these and I've got the nice little rounded corners, it's all just, it's there for me to just to drop straight in, which makes it pretty simple. Let's do this one. And so I'm gonna just go through the PDF. So this is about me. I will occasionally update this. The supply list, I will put the supply list in from my little notepad. And then here I start putting in the pictures. Oh, it's a clean machine. It's loads of noise. Okay. I start putting in the pictures. Hang on, I just moved that. Let's move that back. Like this. And then I will start writing the text to accompany the pictures. And that kind of goes on for a few pages, and then I will show the final project. There we go. And then after the final project pictures, I've got a little thank you, and I tell people like where to find me, my links and stuff. Obviously, because my Patreon is new, I haven't got anything on here about my Patreon, which is something that I'll want to add because that is something that I really want to let people know about. More clean machine action. So yeah, that's kind of how that all works. I hope that's kind of interesting and useful to see. And then obviously once it's done, I'll export it as a PDF. I will export my video as an MP4 or whatever, and then that all goes to the good people at Lifebook, who will create the page and everything that you need in order to access it. It's quite a multi-step involved process, but because I've been doing it for a while and I'm quite like a kind of list, ticking off things off a list type of person, it's just kind of methodical. The most intimidating thing is starting, basically. Once I'm into it and it's fine. So yeah, and I'm kind of coming up to the final bit now, which is exciting. So it will probably be later today that I submit everything to the team at Willowing, and then it's just waiting a few months until this lesson is out and you all get to enjoy it. So yay. Everything is done and handed in. I always feel such a sense of relief after meeting a big deadline. I never realize whilst I'm in it that it's weighing on me, but then once it's done, I'm like, oh, I have headspace again for other creative things. Yay! And it's sunny. Woohoo! That blown out part of the window, that's the sunniness. I think I am going to have some lunch to celebrate. I'm gonna watch Atypical, that's what I'm binging at the moment. Well, I'm not actually binging it, I'm watching one episode a day on Netflix. And I'm going to close out this kind of vlog. I mean, I don't know if I call this a vlog. It was mostly, you know, me sharing with you how I create my Lifebook lesson. I hope you found it interesting. Please let me know if this was the type of video that you like. I enjoyed letting you in on kind of this process of how I work, how I think, that kind of stuff. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I think I already said that. Thank you for watching. I definitely already said that. Goodbye.